May 1985, Greenville Airlines Flight 222 took off, heading for Brookhaven. The long flight was manned by First Officer Greg Craig and Captain Bill Smoltz, a war veteran with just one eye. It was a rainy night, but the routine flight was running smoothly until, during its final descent, the plane encountered an unexpected thunderstorm that hadn't shown up on radar. High concentrations of water vapor exceeding the engine's water intake capacity was ingested into the turbine engines, resulting in a flameout of both of the aircraft's engines. The pilots attempted to windmill restart the engines, but it was no use.
Pan. Greenville Airlines 222 having loss of engine power. We're about 15 miles north of Brookhaven.
Greenville Airlines 222 copy. You're cleared to land immediately at Brookhaven Airport. The airport's too far. We won't make it. Then we'll have to land somewhere else. Where? Water landing? Yeah, maybe. Or how about there? Captain Smoltz pointed to a small, narrow island in the distance. Are you serious? Greg Craig, I've never been more serious about anything in my life. We shall land on that island. But what choice do we have? Okay. Greenville Airlines 222 Heavy making an emergency landing on an island. Oh, wait, what? You ready for this, Greg Craig? No, but yeah. At 9:59 p.m., the emergency landing commenced. Despite his compromised depth perception as a result of having only one eye, Captain Smoltz guided the powerless plane to the island and landed it without as much as a scratch on the aircraft. And the passengers never knew anything was wrong. You did it! Yeah! Both pilots continued to fly for years, and the airplane itself was returned to service and still flies the Robloxian skies to this day. November 1973. Under the command of veteran pilot Jared Nelson and rookie pilot Simon Newman, Brookhaven Air Flight 13 took off on time, an unusual occurrence at the busy international airport in the small town of Brookhaven. A heavy fog had settled over the town, but winds were calm and air traffic was non-existent. Wowee! It sure is a nice day. I'll say, even in the fog, that view of the Brooksea is fabulous. Simon Newman was thrilled at the prospect of an uneventful and calm first flight as first officer. But moments later, everything changed. Our pretty seawalls. Huh? Surfer. Captain Nelson was having a stroke. Hearing the commotion, flight attendant Judy Morgan hurried into the cockpit.
Is there a problem?
Something's wrong. I can't do this. If I know, we're gonna crash. We're gonna die.
Faced with the prospect of having to take command of the plane on his own, Newman went into stress-induced cardiac arrest, leaving no one to fly the aircraft. Judy had to do something fast.
Okay, guess I'll have to do this myself. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your new captain speaking. We're going to have to make a little U-turn back to Brookhaven, but don't worry, everything is fine. So sit back, relax, maybe put your seatbelts on, and just be calm.
Judy then contacted air traffic control.
Hi, this is Brookhaven Air Flight 13. Stewardess Judy here. Captain and co-pilot are incapacitated, so, well, I need clearance to land. And, by the way, how exactly do I land this thing?
Judy immediately got clearance to make an emergency landing back at the Brookhaven airport, along with step-by-step instructions from ground control.
This probably won't end well. We should prepare. We'll have the coroner ready. Yeah, no way a flight attendant can land a large plane.
At 7:37 a.m. in low visibility due to heavy fog and with no flight training whatsoever, Judy Morgan executed a perfect landing at Brookhaven Airport. The passengers regarded her as a hero for her quick thinking and brave command of the large aircraft. Captain Nelson recovered and retired, while First Officer Newman recovered and decided to change careers and become a vet instead. Meanwhile, Judy Morgan got her pilot's license and spent the next 30 years flying for Brookhaven Airlines. September 1992, Block C Airlines Flight 1111 handled a routine takeoff from Brookhaven Airport. Destination, Seaboard City. As the plane climbed to its scheduled 17,000 feet, Captain Thomas Harrison and co-pilot Archibald Anderson released their shoulder harnesses and lap belts, typical behavior in a lengthy international flight. Moments later, there was a loud bang as the left windscreen panel on the captain's side had separated from the forward fuselage, propelling Captain Harrison out of his seat and out of the flight deck. Held only by his feet, entangled in the flight controls. First Officer Anderson rushed to help, but realized he had a plane to control. The plane was not equipped with oxygen for everyone on board, so a rapid emergency descent was crucial to reach an altitude with sufficient air pressure. Anderson attempted a distress call, but wind noise from the missing window made it impossible to communicate. This caused a delay in initiating emergency procedures. Meanwhile, outside the plane, Harrison bobbled around, his head periodically smacking the side of the plane as he endured the brutal wind and cold. Eventually, Anderson was able to hear air traffic control's transmission, giving him clearance to return to Brookhaven for an emergency landing. The plane landed, and everyone expected that Captain Harrison had not survived the physically traumatic event. But he had, sustaining nothing more than frostbite, bruising, shock, and a fractured right arm. The NTSB immediately stepped in to investigate, finding that the windscreen had been installed with the wrong size screws. Captain Harrison returned to work a few months later and retired as a commercial pilot in 2010. March 2025, Flight 1927, a daily regional flight out of Brookhaven, prepared for takeoff with veteran pilot Courtney Salamander in command and Jackery Smiles as first officer. What should have been a routine flight turned out to be anything but. At 3:24 p.m., the flight was cleared for takeoff. The crew enjoyed casual conversation as they began their climb.
What a view of the Brook Sea today!
Sure is.
What the what?
At an altitude of 2,800 feet, the aircraft had struck a bundle of balloons.
Both engines have shut down. I'll take the plane. You work the checklist to restart the engine.
This is Flight 1927. We've suffered a balloon strike. We've lost thrust in both engines. Returning back to Brookhaven.
Okay, got you cleared for the runway.
But the plane was descending fast. Too fast.
Unable.
What?
We're gonna be in the Brook Sea.
What?
This is your captain speaking. Brace for impact.
90 seconds later, the plane made an unpowered water ditching in the Brook Sea. Captain, Salamander, and First Officer Smiles sprung into action, instructing passengers onto the wings, and the crew didn't leave the sinking plane until they were certain all passengers had safely evacuated. The crew was commended for their actions, executing the most successful water ditching in aviation history, and awarded Master's Medals, a rarely bestowed honor for outstanding aviation achievement. March 1990. Robloxian Airlines Flight 323 took off from Seaboard City under the command of Captain Roger Hines and First Officer Bob Documents. The flight, a non-stop 3-hour trip to Costco, started out beautifully with clear skies, no delays, and a cabin full of happy passengers. It was Babies Fly Free Day, and there were many babies on board. But then, things took a grim turn.
What was that?
We lost an engine.
Huh. Could be damaged. Better shut it off.
Roger that, Roger.
What is it?
I can't control the plane.
Hydraulic fluid's nearly empty. That's impossible.
What do we do?
Although the pilots didn't realize it at the time, a faulty fan disc had separated from the tail-mounted engine, tearing out parts of the hydraulic system supply hoses, rendering the aircraft virtually uncontrollable. They quickly communicated their predicament to air traffic control.
Land a plane safely without hydraulic function? That's never been done.
It was a cold, hard truth no one wanted to hear. Meanwhile, in the cabin, the passengers were largely unaware of what was happening, except for passenger Donnie Clutch, an experienced pilot and expert in that particular aircraft. He knew something was wrong and went to offer help.
Excuse me, I'm an expert in these planes. Can I help? Yeah.
With an extra set of hands, the crew did their best to manipulate their control columns as they steered toward the nearest airport in Brookhaven. As Flight 323 made its final approach, the crew was unable to control the airspeed or sink rate, and both far exceeded the standards for a safe landing.
This is an impossible landing. I don't know if we can do it. We have to do it. There are babies on board.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. We're going to be making an emergency landing.
A hard one.
Brace for impact. You're about to experience the worst thing you've ever been through in your life.
Thank you for flying Robloxian Airlines.
And with that, the uncontrollable plane headed for touchdown.
Close them off.
Left turn, close them off.
No, I can't pull them off or we'll lose it. That's what's turning you. Okay. Left throttle, left, 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 left.
Terrain. Pull up.
The plane fractured from the force of the impact. Its flaming pieces scattered just north of the runway. Emergency crews were waiting, expecting to find no survivors. To their surprise, there were many. As it turned out, the crew of Flight 323 made the impossible possible. Due to fantastic crew resource management, they did what no one had ever done, what no one thought could be done. They made the impossible landing.